Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and drop a like on this video. I am trying to hit 100k subscribers on this channel by the end of the year, so your subscription would be much appreciated. Also, drop a like on this video. It only takes 1 second and makes a massive difference. Also, real quick, I have to promote something. If you have not watched the most recent video on my main channel, it is my deep dive on the discussions surrounding mental health in sports, and in particular the Ben Simmons situation. I think it's my third best video that I've ever made, and it's probably the most important video that I've ever made, and it's also my return to deep dives, and I intend on uploading a deep dive every day in December. Or not every day, Jesus, every Friday on December. So if you could go give that video a watch if you haven't already. It's extremely important to me. Spent all week making it, and like I said, one of my best videos, so go check it out. That said, I'm not doing a hot takes video today because I ended up having to push time away to do that video, so it just kind of I forgot to record the video. So today I am doing a video reacting to DeMarcus Cousins signing with the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, in the grand scheme of things, this probably is not actually that big of a deal. However, the name DeMarcus Cousins just makes this a lot more interesting than it otherwise would, because realistically speaking, there are probably a couple of free agent centers who can bring as much to the table as DeMarcus Cousins does at this stage in his career. But because DeMarcus Cousins is DeMarcus Cousins, it's something that we're going to talk about. So, signs with the Milwaukee Bucks, and according to Shams, it is a non-guaranteed deal, which is pretty much exactly what I expected. The Milwaukee Bucks this year have had a ton of injury problems, particularly at the center position. I don't think Brook Lopez has played much at all this year. And even though Bobby Portis is fine enough playing center, there are parts of his game, especially defensively, that's like, you know, you would like other options there, especially for certain circumstances, and you don't really have that because Brook Lopez is not there. Granted, DeMarcus Cousins is not solving that problem because Bobby Portis is better defensively than DeMarcus Cousins. But what DeMarcus Cousins would bring to the table would be depth on that team, as well as just another guy who can do something offensively, a big man that can at least theoretically stretch the floor. Now, I don't know the specific numbers. In fact, I'll actually Google them just to confirm this. But if I am not mistaken, the last couple of years, DeMarcus's three ball has not gone in. And I'm speaking from like when he signed with the Warriors to the Rockets to the Clippers. He had some moments that were really nice with the Clippers, but overall he wasn't outstanding. I mean, his stats are pretty good from the 16 games he played with the Clippers, but it's also not a lot. But if the Jesus Christ, fucking basketball reference isn't working. Hey, let's go. No, I'm clicking on the Warriors years. Can this app stop being slow? Not app, it's a website. Okay, the last 71 games he's played, which have been on 3 different basketball teams, he has shot 31.7% from 3 on 3 attempts per game. Now, he has averaged 7 rebounds in 21 minutes, which is pretty damn good, and 12 points on not the worst efficiency. So I could definitely see a world where DeMarcus Cousins carves out a role in the NBA where it's not a question as to whether or not he's ever going to get a contract again. Obviously, non-guaranteed deal, and I don't know how much opportunity he's truly going to get, but he played pretty well with the Clippers, and, you know, my eye test was telling me that he played well with the Clippers, and actually looking at the stats, he shot 54% from the field, 42% from 3. Granted, it was 1.2 attempts, and it was only 16 games, and you could say the only 16 games about all of this, but 8 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 12 minutes, that's, you know, there's worse stuff than that out there for sure. There's worse players that are on rosters, but do I expect DeMarcus Cousins to have some great recovery and great breakout where suddenly, you know, he's back to all-star form again, back to borderline superstar form? No, and that's unfortunate. DeMarcus is unfortunately going to be one of the tales of a player that had a lot of promise and was good for a long stretch of time, and right at the start of his peak, because DeMarcus tore his Achilles when he was 27 years old, just completely cut short his prime, because DeMarcus is only 30 years old right now, and his injury was 3 years ago. And yet here we are and he's signing non-guaranteed deals to be a third-string center, and you know, not exactly the ideal situation because of his injuries. It says that he didn't. It says here on, did he tear his ACL too? Am I forgetting that? Did he tear his Achilles and his ACL? Because according to Basketball Reference, he missed the season because he tore his ACL. I did not know that. That makes it even make more sense, because Jesus Christ, the guy just had a tough break. But okay, let's talk hypothetical with how what he can actually do in Milwaukee. So first of all, with no Brook Lopez, I imagine that DeMarcus will get some actual run. I don't know the extent of Brook Lopez's injury issue, so I can't really say what the time frame is, and actually I will Google that as well just to confirm. This shows how fucking off the cuff these videos are, is that I'm Googling shit while recording. Brook Lopez injury. Okay, from an article a week ago, there was a claim that Brook is looking to return from his back injury in the coming weeks. So I would assume less than a month, so let's just say it's 2 weeks of time, and there's a couple of games in that week, or in those weeks. It's possible that he would get opportunity to score the ball, especially because not only has Brook Lopez been out, but just kind of everybody's been out, and they're starting to get back now, and they've been winning as a result. But their bench unit in particular has not brought a lot to the table, and potentially DeMarcus's post scoring or his three-point shooting actually being a thing could be an avenue towards there being some offensive production off of the bench. And I wouldn't be shocked if he ended up, you know, playing 15 minutes a game for a handful of games, and then that's good enough that the Bucks feel comfortable guaranteeing his deal for the rest of the year. And perhaps because he played well enough in the time that he got with the Bucks, similar to how he did with the Clippers, but over a longer period of time with more games, perhaps that's enough to get him a contract from a not great team that's just looking to fill out a roster spot, or a contender that's trying to make a low-risk, high-reward move, which is exactly what DeMarcus Cousins looks to be at this stage of his career. But ultimately, if I had to guess, tragically, because of course you never want anybody to have their career cut short, ultimately this is probably just another stint with the team where DeMarcus is not really going to have that much of an impact, and the excitement from his name is going to dissipate after a couple of games, and ultimately fizzles out and doesn't get another contract. Or if he does, it's going to be yet another non-guaranteed deal where he plays a couple of games and looks okay. I'll say it would be nice if one team could give him a real opportunity, but it's also not on these NBA teams to have like a charity case of like, hey, we'll give you 20 minutes a game, because it would give you an opportunity to showcase your talents at this point. Unfortunately, a lot of teams don't have the roster availability, or if they do, they're trying to spend it on young talent, not someone who's 30 years old. So I feel like in order for him to get really back in the league, he needs an opportunity where he can play like 20 minutes a game for like 50 games in a season and play good in that time, and then that would get him a spot. But unfortunately, there's not a team where I think that opportunity is going to come. And as a result, DeMarcus Cousins' career is just kind of over. It's just not officially over yet. Would very much love to be wrong about this, though. And I will say, and I said this when DeMarcus Cousins signed with the Warriors, or not, well, not initially, because initially we thought DeMarcus Cousins would be just as good. Holy shit, that was a DEFCON red moment. But I said this after he was not that great. He really needs to be on a team that's not contending in order for him to showcase that ability. But again, for those teams that are not contending, they're really looking for youth. So DeMarcus Cousins is in a tough situation where what he could bring to the table needs time to showcase itself, but teams only really afford that to young talent, and DeMarcus Cousins is not young talent. So he's kind of screwed, and probably to some extent unfairly so, and certainly unfairly from the fact that he just got injured. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of sad. But yeah, that is it. Goodbye.